Hey guys, thanks for joining me. This is Angie at Chicken Scratch. This is the project we're making today. It opens up just like that. Okay, so this project is inspired by one of the projects that was on our Stampin' Anonymous tutorial, so don't forget to check that out. This tutorial is free with any Stampin' Up! Order placed with me this month. We've got crumb cake cardstock that measures 8.5 by 7. We've got Whisper White. This has already been cut out using the stitch nested dies. These will be available on June 4th in the new catalog. And then I've got a piece of Whisper White for our 1-inch circle here. We're using 3 stamp sets. This is Itty Bitty Greetings. This is Let It Ride. And then we stamped the burlap on the box. Okay, so I'm going to get the Simply Scored scoring tool, and that's the first step we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to take my stylus and I'm going to score this at 1 1/8 on all 4 sides. Okay, I'm going to fold on those 4 score lines. I am going to use my bone folder. Okay, now the next step is I'm going to take, this is in portrait mode, okay? And I'm going to fold this over to that score line, just like that. And I'm going to fold and use my bone folder. Now the reason I'm doing it like this is because our Stampin' Trimmer has retired. And so I want to show you guys how to do this because our scoring tool, our Simply Scored scoring tool, wait, let me back up. So now you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so we did that on this side. Now we're going to flip it and do it on this side. And the reason is because we don't have 16ths on the Simply Scored scoring tool. And so if you were going to score this, you would need to use your trimmer. But this is the way that I do it a lot of times when I'm in a hurry, and it works just as well, okay? And we're going to cut up to the score line on all 4 score lines on this side, and then do the exact same thing on the other side. Okay, now what I want to do is trim the tabs. So I'm going to trim a little to the left and a little to the right on all 6 of them. So there's 3 on this side and 3 on the other side. Okay, there we go. So now we want to determine which part of this box is going to be the top. If you'll notice, I stamped on the back of the lid, the back and the sides and the front of the lid, but I didn't on the rest of the pieces. Okay, you can if you want to, but I didn't want to. So what I want to do is check my score lines and see how they worked out, and they're good. See, okay, so this is going to be the top of my box. Okay, so that means that I want to decorate all of this. Okay, don't let that confuse you. Okay, you can always open it back up. But this tells me that this is what I want to decorate because that's what's going to be shown. So see the back, the front, the top, oh, and then the side. So let me rewind for just a second. That's what it's going to look like, okay? This stamp, the burlap, does not fit on that entire thing, as you can see. I tried to create this box smaller, but if I made it any smaller, then it wouldn't look right. I wanted it to be able to hold something, a specific size. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp this burlap on here 2 times. By the way, I do believe that background stamp is retiring. I'm not sure. I'll make sure it's on the screen. So I'm going to take my crumb cake ink and I'm going to ink it up using the foam brayer because I just want, and I know I'm shaking the camera, so let me see if I can, oh, it's still shaking, sorry. So I'm brushing this on because I only want a little ink, not a lot, okay? And then I'm going to take my grid paper. You can see me looking for it. And I am going to turn this over. And let's see, which way do I want to do it? I think this way. No, I'm going to do it this way. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm taking my grid paper. This is not one of those projects that's going to be perfect. So, see? And now what we're going to do is the exact same thing, except we're just going to connect the areas in which it didn't stamp, okay? So this is just like a messy burlap background. It is not perfect. Okay, so same thing. This time I'm going to line up that part that didn't get stamped. And now I'm going to take this side that didn't get stamped real well, and I'm going to do the same thing. Let's see. Now I got myself turned around, so let me start over. If you can remember what side you did that on, then you could use it 2 times. Hopefully that makes sense. Now, see how it looks? Not perfect, right? That's okay. We're about to fix it. So now we've got a little bit of crumb cake ink left on our foam brush, and I want to use this on another color. So what I'm going to do is just brush off that ink onto this box, and I'm going to give it a little bit more because I like that look. Okay. I'm only going up and down, not sideways. So you want to sponge this on going in one direction, okay? Now, we are done with the crumb cake. I'm going to close that up. And now I'm going to open up my soft suede, okay? So the same thing. Now this, you don't have to press as hard because this is a darker color. This is what gives it kind of that weathered look. I love it. I thought this is something totally that I could give my father. He has horses. He grew up with horses. He's always had horses. Okay, isn't that awesome? Now, I just want to come in here and give the edges a little bit more of a sponge. So this can actually help you get some of your ink off the sponge so that you can use it on crumb cake again later. And I have gone back and forth on this one. I've used it on crumb cake and soft suede. I probably wouldn't use it with early espresso because that would be asking too much of it. Okay, so, and now we're going to leave a little bit of ink on here so that we can use it on the image. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside now along with the grid paper. It looks like I came off the grid paper there just a little bit, didn't I? Oh well. Okay, now we're going to add tearing tape to our corners, or to our tabs, I should say. You could put some candy and a gift card in here. It will hold like a Swiss Army knife, a buck knife. Depends on whatever your significant male is into. You know, my dad and my husband are both kind of outdoorsmen, so I always think about the knives and stuff like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm going to remove the adhesive on the 6 tabs. Now I am still learning to use the Take Your Pick tool instead of the paper piercer. So I might poke myself or do the wrong thing. I like to always give that information so people will know that, no, I'm not new to paper crafting. I'm just new to using a much larger tool than the piercer. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up and bring this up. And then I'm coming down here to the lid, bringing that up and that up. And now these are going to go into the bottom of the box, okay? So I'm just going to fold it. Don't stick too soon. Just like that. And the same thing here, okay? And then this is going to fold over just like that. It looks pretty good. Okay, I have this Whisper White layer cut with the stitch nested dies, and I'm going to take the horse from Let It Ride, and I'm going to ink it up with Memento ink. Okay, now this stamp set has this awesome For You, but I just kind of felt like that it was maybe too big. So I'm using It's Your Day from Itty Bitty Greetings. And again, I'm using Memento ink. Oh, and let me back up for just a second, okay? So I'm going to take my light Pool Party Stampin' Blend marker, and I'm going to brush on some Pool Party ink. And then I'm going to stamp It's Your Day from the Itty Bitty Greeting right there, okay? I'm going to cut that out with the 1-inch circle punch, and it barely fits, but it fits, okay? Okay, so now let's color. We're going to use the light and dark of Soft Suede and the light Pool Party. I'm going to start with the dark Soft Suede, and I'm going to just kind of outline the edge. This doesn't have to be perfect. It's an animal, and they are not perfect in their coloring, right? Okay, I'm going to come in now with the light Soft Suede. We grew up with horses, so Dave and I both did. Although I'm still scared of them. My sister isn't. Neither one of my sisters are scared of them, but I am. They're so big. I think they're beautiful, but every time I ride, I almost fall off. My dad has had a real kick out of me riding. I'm not graceful. You guys already know that about me. I'm taking this to the edge because I just felt like I could not. I had to take it to the edge. That makes sense. Okay, now I'm going to take the light Pool Party again, and I'm just going to start up here at the top and just brush on the sky. Now, I did try this in Very Vanilla. I actually like the white better, so if you try to make this project, let me know. And if you prefer a grungier look or a darker look, you could try the Very Vanilla. I like the white in the white in here. Okay, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? I think so. Okay, let's get our box back over here. So we are using the, well, I don't really know the name of it. It's not on there, is it? It's okay. So I'm just going to add some trim. This is the stuff that's in the current catalog. So I believe this one's retiring, but I'm not sure. I'll make sure I put it on the screen if it is. Okay, so let's see. I cut a little too much, so I'm just going to remove about that much. And then I'm going to take my liquid glue, And I'm going to add, hopefully you can see where I'm adding this glue. So I'm just going to add it down here at the bottom, kind of where it can't be seen. Although this stuff does dry clear. Okay, so down here at the bottom. I'll hold this for just a second. So we're going to turn this over and we're going to add dimensionals in each of the corners. I have ink on my fingers. I have glue on my fingers. Okay, so that's going to go right there, just right in the middle. Okay, this image is also going to get popped up, but you know what I forgot to do? Is I forgot to sponge the edges. So we'll sponge the edges here. And this one, because I didn't press down too hard, somebody's going to be like, oh Lord, that video was a hot mess. You know, when it comes to a project that has a lot of detail to it, yeah, I get a little out of sequence. It's still going to look so cute, and I think that you'll be successful in making it yourself. Okay, so a dimensional. You just might want to have some cloths or baby wipes around. Okay, now let's take a True Gentleman button. This is retiring. These are retiring, sadly. And then I'm going to take a couple strands of the linen thread. Now this is the old style linen thread. It's the exact same stuff, or the package that it was in before. I used to buy a lot of linen thread. I used a lot of it. So it's the same stuff. It's just packaged differently now. Sorry, my wording is all over the place. Okay, trim the ends, and then I'm going to take my bone folder and I'm going to curl the ends, and I'm going to add it to the top of the button with a glue dot. Now you could use your liquid glue. You guys see me with liquid glue on embellishments doesn't necessarily work. I'm successful at it on bigger projects like cardstock. Okay, so then this is going to go right down there, and so I'm going to pick up another glue dot, and okay, so here's my original. Here's the one we just made. Super cute, right? Don't forget, if you don't like, or if you don't have itty bitty greetings, this For You image is included in the same stamp set, so you could use that if you wanted to. Yeah. Okay, don't forget, free inspiration sheet over on my website. Thanks a lot. Have a great day. Bye.